I warmly welcome you all to my channel ABC Academy. In this video, we are going to see the second part of the prose, His First Flight, which is written by Liam O. Flaherty. In the previous class, we have seen the first three paragraphs of the story. But in this class, we are going to see the remaining part of the story. This story is about the young seagull which is afraid to fly for the first time. Let us see what had happened next in the story. Then we move on to the fourth paragraph of the story. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing warmly on his sledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. Then he had found a dried piece of mackerel's tail at the far end of his sledge. Now there was not a single scrap of food left. He had searched every inch, rooting among the rough, dirt-cacked straw nest where he and his brothers and his sister had been hatched. He even gnawed at the dried pieces of eggshell. It was like eating a part of himself. The explanation of the fourth paragraph. The sun had now risen, and he was feeling the heat more than ever because he was empty stomach since the night before. In search of food, he found a dried pieces of mackerel's tail at the ledge. Then there was not a small piece of food left, but he searched everywhere in the nest where he and his brother and his sister had been hatched. Then he found a piece of eggshell. While eating the eggshell, he felt that he was eating a part of himself. Then we move to the hard words and its meanings from the fourth paragraph. Ascending the sky, the act of rising through the air, blazing, shine brightly. Mackerel, a sea fish with a strong taste used as food. Gnaw, to bite or chew something repeatedly. Scrap, discard, or a small piece of something that is left over. Then we move to the fifth paragraph of the story. He then trotted back and forth from one end of the ledge to the other, his long grey legs stepping daintily, trying to find some means of reaching his parents without having to fly. But on each side of him, the ledge ended in a sheer fall of precipice, with a sea beneath. And between him and his parents, there was a deep, wide crack. The explanation of the fifth paragraph. He wanted to reach his parents without flying, but he could not do that because there is a sheer fall, which means a slope in the rock. That's why he would like to run at a moderate pace with the short steps. And there was a deep, wide crack, which means a break partially in the rock, so that he was afraid to fly. Then we move on to the hard words and its meanings from the fifth paragraph. Trot, to run at a moderate pace with the short steps, daintily, in a delicate manner, or easily hurt. Sheer, of a slope set at a high angle. Precipice, a very steep side of a cliff or a mountain. Crack, break partially but keep its integrity. Then we move on to the sixth paragraph of the story. Surely he could reach them without flying if he could only move northwards along the cliff face. But then, on what could he walk? There was no ledge, and he was not a fly. And above him, he could see nothing. The precipice was sheer, and the top of it was, perhaps, farther away than the sea beneath him. The explanation of the sixth paragraph. The young seagull now surely could reach his parents if he could move northwards along the cliff face. But he needed somebody's help because he was too young to do that alone. Nobody was there to help him. He was afraid and frightened. There was no ledge but a steep high face of rock. That's why he could not move to reach his parents. Then we move on to the hard words and its meanings from the 6th paragraph. Northwards, in a northern direction, beneath, under, perhaps, by chance, further, more distant. Then we move on to the 7th paragraph of the story. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. Still they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau dozing, with their heads sunk into their necks. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. The explanation of the 7th paragraph. Then the young seagull moved slowly to the edge, and there he was standing on one leg. He hid his another leg under his wing. At the same time, he closed his eyes. He wanted to pretend himself to be falling asleep. And then he saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau dozing. Dozing means sleep lightly for a short period of time. His brothers put their heads sunk into their necks, while his father cleaning his feathers, but his mother was looking at him. Let us see the hard words and its meanings from the 7th paragraph. Pretended, behave unnaturally, or put forward. Plateau, a relatively flat highland. Dozing, sleep lightly or for a short period of time. Preening, cleaning. Then we move to the 8th paragraph of the story. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now and again she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet, and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. He uttered a low cackle. His mother cackled too and looked at him. The explanation of the 8th paragraph. The mother bird was standing on the little high hump on the plateau. Hump means something that bulgy. Then she scraped each side of her beak on the rock. Beak means the mouth of a bird. Then the young seagull saw his mother bird was taking a piece of fish on her feet for him, so that the young seagull bird was maddened. He loved to tear the food that way like his mother, and then he was scraping his beak to wet his food. Wet means to sharpen by rubbing. After that he expressed his low cackle. Low cackle means expressing voice in a low way. And then his mother bird also cackled at him affectionately. Then we move to the hard words and its meanings from the 8th paragraph. Hump, something that bulges out. Thrust, push upward. Scraped, scratch repeatedly. Wet, sharpened by rubbing. Cackled, make a low noise. In this video, we have seen the story with the end title of His First Flight from 4th paragraph to 8th paragraph. Through these paragraphs, we have learned that the young seagull and its struggles, and how it managed to find out food to survive without their parents and siblings' help. And also we have come across that the mother bird, how it affectionately treated its young bird. And also we can understand that the affectionate between the mother bird and the young seagull. And also we have learned that the young seagull wanted to reach his parents without flying, because it is afraid to fly for the first time. In the next video, we will see that the young seagull who is afraid to fly for the first time, whether it is fly or not. Okay, students, we will see the remaining paragraphs of the story, His First Flight, in the next video. Thanks for watching.